Why have they got no contact? When you come out of an emotionally abusive or toxic relationship, you have so many questions. And there's nothing more soul destroying than having a conversation with a person you're no longer in contact with. These relationships are so hard to heal from. Perhaps you're questioning everything that happened, going over your relationship with a fine-tooth comb, wondering what you did wrong. All the maybes and if-only statements. Maybe you're dissecting every scenario, every conversation. Perhaps you're replaying a different ending, replacing words and outcomes. You have possibly been replaying the relationship and wondering if you'd done something differently, would you still have your partner? Or you might be wondering if you hadn't done something or said something, if you would be in a different place. It hurts so much. If only I'd said, if only I hadn't said, if only I'd done, if only I hadn't done. And maybe this is what's been keeping you stuck, not able to move on or move forward with your life. Trying to understand what has happened, you may have discovered this new world of emotional abuse, toxic relationships. You may be learning a new language, new terms, and then it hits you. And you ask yourself, why haven't I been hoovered? Why have they gone no contact? And then you might ask yourself, am I the narcissist? You must be, because everything you've read has said that you'll be hoovered, and everything you've read or seen or heard has said you need to go no contact. You must be, because you're the one that's been ghosted. As with other emotionally abusive or toxic relationships, there is the cycle of abuse. The cycle is the same: idealization, devaluation, discard. Perhaps they were going to discard you and it wasn't going to be the final discard. They were playing a game and you didn't have the rules. Perhaps you didn't realise, perhaps you thought it was a discard and it had ended. Maybe your intuition saw this is a red flag. Maybe they were using this discard to bring you back in line. They're trying to hook you further. Perhaps they were trying to gain some power back. Perhaps you were being more powerful in your life, being more assertive, claiming back some of the power that they had gained. Maybe they wanted to take full control again of your life. Perhaps they were in the process of securing a new supply and they hadn't quite got that relationship in place, as deeply hooked as they needed that person to be. What I mean is, perhaps they were in that love bombing stage. They were still in that idealization stage. Or maybe it was just a short relationship. But behind the scenes of that, they were lining up a more permanent supply. If you've discovered who they are and what they are, this is another reason they go no contact. They cannot risk you telling anyone. And just like they did with you, they need a new supply to become reliant on them as quickly as possible. And if you find out they have a new supply in the early start of this relationship, you might step in and wreck it for them. They may not have fully hooked up this person to their drug. It's a delicate procedure, manoeuvring themselves into their new supply's life, and they can't risk you blowing their cover. And if you do start talking about this, they'll quickly point out how crazy you are. Do you remember hearing about that other crazy exes? If one of them had contacted you and told you who they were, would you have listened? It hurts. But they're not hoovering and have gone no contact, not because you are the narcissist. It's because they can't take any risks. The pain you're in means you are potentially a loose cannon. They need to act swiftly and withdraw. And they may be setting up a smear campaign to make sure that if you do say anything, it's discounted because you are crazy and out to hurt them. Because they're the victim. You were bonded. And it happens in every relationship, but these bonds were one-sided in yours. You bonded to them. They didn't bond to you. And this is why it's so painful. These bonds are like superglue. They're so hard to remove. They put on a mask and they played a role. And this is what they're up to at the moment. They're learning what they need to do, the character they need to create to make sure their new supply is fully hooked up. You need to give yourself time to grieve. Your life was consumed by them. Not only have you lost your partner, you've lost the relationship and the fake future. You're very likely feeling lonely, confused, and not understanding what happened. This was a game and you weren't given the rules. Just like they have poisoned and brainwashed you, they have done the same to everyone else in their life. The stories they made up about other people, they're now telling about you. This was about power and control. They have drained you of everything, and just like Voldemort, they are stronger and they're ready to move on. You may have difficulty managing your emotions. You might have experienced strong emotional reactions to situations. Perhaps you're becoming irritable, having extreme mood swings. They can't risk these exploding and you unmasking them. Perhaps you're experiencing emotions of rejection or abandonment. You might have brain fog. They might not be hoovering you or attempting to. They may have gone no contact, but you need to do the same. You cannot risk them contacting you. And like a drug user, you now need to go cold turkey. And it might be painful, but I promise you it will be worth it. Start creating some routines. This will help your brain recover, and it will help your recovery from complex post-traumatic stress disorder if you're experiencing any of those from the trauma of the relationship. You need to track down the wounds and particularly find the original wound. I hope one day you'll see this relationship differently and see it as a stepping stone to your growth. I'm sending you loads and loads of love.